Excited to have you here tonight. My name is Zoe Jonick. I am the lead organizer at 350 Bay Area and 350 Bay Area Action. Really excited to be here with you this evening. And I'm actually gonna stop sharing my screen. Um, I wanted to welcome you all in to our seventh annual Climate Justice Awards. We are very happy to celebrate with you this evening. Um, we are going to be having a wonderful event tonight, and we are going to get right into it. So as I said, my name is Zoe Jonick. I share pronouns. I'm calling from Oakland, which is Lisjan Ohlone land, and I am the lead organizer for 350 Bay Area. And if you are coming to us from another space, another newsletter, or supporting somebody in particular, and you're not familiar with 350 Bay Area, we are a volunteer-based grassroots climate advocacy organization. We've been fighting for bold climate action in the Bay Area for nearly 15 years. We have a myriad of excellent volunteer teams working on critical issues across the region, including our 7 local groups that are pushing for tangible, justice-centered solutions in our cities, counties, and state. To build a brighter future. And I myself have been with 350 Bay Area since 2021 when I joined the youth-led mobilizing team as a volunteer and promptly got introduced to the incredible, expansive world that is our local climate justice movement. And really taking action with 350 Bay Area opened the door to meet all sorts of fantastic people and work with fantastic organizations that are fighting each and every day to improve the lives of communities across the Bay, California, and the world, truly through creative, daring, persistent, dogged, powerful actions. Um, and that's really the beauty of our movement, which is that it's this incredible tapestry of individuals and groups that continue to show up and fight the good fight, working together to become more than the sum of our parts, often facing unrelenting obstacles and uphill battles. And in times like these, which I don't have to tell you can be tough, where the odds seem stacked against us and the powers that be are consistently trying to divide and distract us and put us in silos, the bonds and community that we build out of our solidarity with one another is how we win. And the work may be unending, but we refuse to let it be thankless. These Climate Justice Awards are a chance for us to pause and honor the incredible work of people and groups here in the Bay Area fighting for justice. Our 5 honorees tonight, Silicon Valley Youth Climate Action, Jessica Guadalupe Tovar, Hilary Glann, David Solnit, and Bay Resistance, are beacons and examples of the power of organizing. They all empower their communities and push to create the systems change we need to have a green, liberated future. We are so honored to be here with you all this evening and to celebrate our 2026 honorees and their work, and to get to hear from each of them about their experiences working in this movement. We will also have a section at the end of the call for a Q&A with all the honorees, but please feel free to put your love and appreciation for them in the chat as we go along and as each of them is being presented with their award and talking about their work. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any technical problems or issues, please just send something in the chat. We'll try and get it resolved. And we are very thrilled to be with you here tonight. I'm going to now reshare my screen first and introduce or pass it off to Deborah, who is a member of volunteer leader in our youth-led mobilizing team, who is going to be introducing our first honoree of the evening, Silicon Valley Youth Climate Action. Take it away, Deborah.
Hi, everyone. Silicon Valley Youth Climate Action is a youth-led organization of over 150 student volunteers throughout Santa Clara, San Mateo, and Alameda counties. Through their city and topic-based action teams, they pursue impactful climate solutions in an interdisciplinary manner, while uplifting members and supporting them in finding and embarking on green careers. They've successfully advocated for dozens of strong climate policies at a local and state level, including electrification reach codes, complete street improvements, and expanded youth access to public transportation. They also push for better climate education through policies like AB 285, working with school districts on teacher trainings and curricula, and going out to present directly in their schools and communities. In the last year, 350 Bay Area has gotten a chance to collaborate more with SVYCA, which has given us a better chance to witness all of the incredible and powerful work they are doing, not only creating real change with policies in education, but also creating change by empowering themselves and other youth to make a difference. Overall, SVYCA works every day to provide students who are passionate and often anxious about climate change with the resources and community they need to be part of real, tangible progress, starting at the local level. These are the kinds of seeds that create deep roots and grow into towering trees, breathing life into our local climate justice movements. It's my pleasure to introduce Mani Bakala, Emily Ma, Nova Jayaraj, Aiden Lay, Aditi Skandan, and Jessica Sepkoda, members of Silicon Valley Youth Climate Action, that will be receiving this award on behalf of their organization tonight.
Thank you so much, 350 Bay Area, for this recognition. We're so incredibly grateful for all of your support. I'm Emily, one of SVYC's youth directors, and I just wanted to start off by addressing one of the biggest struggles that youth have faced in the climate space, and that is that too often we're underestimated. Our involvement is often limited to beach cleanups and individual behavioral changes, which are very valuable but restrict us from creating systemic change. At the same time, we're frequently dismissed as confrontational teens who solely protest without desire to collaborate or build long-term climate strategy. In contrast, SVYCA truly believes in the power of youth. Currently, our org has over 150 active student volunteers across 14 action teams who are combating climate change through impactful policy and education initiatives. I'll pass it off to Nova to share a little bit more about how exactly SVYCA student leaders are contributing to the climate space.
Hey, I'm Nova. I'm SUICA's policy officer this year. Kind of touching on what Emily was saying a bit earlier. Um, the climate space is one that youth often aren't included in, mainly because like kind of what Emily was saying earlier, we're underestimated or we're seen as like not valuable to these conversations. And SVYCA truly believes that climate policy should be made with the perspectives of the generation that inherit the outcomes of climate policy and live with it the longest. So with this, SUIC has created a lot of opportunities for young people to engage directly with policy and advocacy. Youth draft local policy proposals, engage with decision makers, and work on their own projects that can create long-term community impact through policy or their own initiatives that they pursue. Um, I think the main message really is that youth empowerment is not just about giving young people a seat at the table, but also recognizing them as leaders capable of driving high impact and systemic change. And then I'll pass it off to Jessica.
Hello everyone, my name is Jessica. I'm co-leading the San Mateo County Action Team in SUICA, and today I'm going to share with you the work SUICA has been doing with local climate policy. So across our organization, we push for green building policies to incentivize and require electrification. We advocate for more accessible public transit, and we work with school districts to get climate education into all high school classes. Our action teams have succeeded in passing dozens of local climate policies, and whether we realize it or not, young people can be one of the most powerful forces in climate policy advocacy. We can speak with conviction about our own futures and push for transformative solutions, and whether or not they are convenient to people in power. So when we organize young people to participate in their local governments, we're able to connect them with tangible, impactful action that is so hard to find for such an overwhelming issue as climate change. Thank you, and I'm going to pass it on to Aiden.
My name is Aiden. I'm the co-lead for SPYCA State Advocacy Team. And today I'm going to share some of the youth-led climate action that we do at the state level, uh, because young people's voices belong at every level of government. So first off, our state team has many passionate young members who work to support climate legislation through letters to support and oppose harmful legislation. One thing we've been focused on this year is our co-sponsorship of SB 1048, which is actually SPYCA's first ever co-sponsored bill. Um, what this bill does is it supports climate literacy for kids in school, and the bill has been moving along smoothly and will be heard by the State Assembly on July 1st. Additionally, we have also been meeting with many different legislators and different groups like CCAs and Valley Water to gain insight into how the large influx of AI data centers has impacted our water and energy use. From these meetings, we found many bills to support that enforce regulations on data centers, and we're also in the process of introducing our own bill as well. Because of the committed advocacy of our team members, youth climate advocates are starting to become a more important constituency for our local elected leaders, and we've been able to share in the development of some early bills on and the process. And I'll pass it on to Aditi.
Hi everyone, I'm Aditi and I'm one of the co-chairs of SUICA's Climate Health Collaborative. In our collaborative, a lot of our work has focused on helping people understand how closely climate and health are connected, because I really feel that these fields are often separated when they really shouldn't be. For example, during our air district campaign, we discussed air pollution and what that means for people on a day-to-day level, which is why we have been advocating for the implementation of the air district zero nitrogen oxide appliance rules. Poor air quality can make existing health conditions worse, especially for kids, older adults, and communities that are already more vulnerable. That connection is important to look into because once health comes into picture, climate change feels much more immediate to people as it now poses a threat to their daily activity. I think bringing more healthcare voices into climate advocacy is really important in order to succeed and to bring about the most transformative solutions. The climate movement needs to build stronger coalitions with other groups working for health and social justice for our many, many shared priorities. And in our collaborative, we've been able to work with SFA-PSR, Urban Tilt, Santa Clara Medical Association, and Dr. Alka Agarwal. And I'm really grateful to be part of a youth community that's helping push that forward. Thank you, and I'll pass it to Mani.
Hi, my name is Mani, and I'm one of SVICA's youth directors with Emily. And I wanted to just take a step back and say, I really think the work of all of us here, students with SVICA, is proof and also inspiration that young people, when we join together and we also work with adults in this advocacy, we're a really powerful force in the climate movement. And of course, we face very severe obstacles right now, especially at the federal level. But when we have this community of other people who care so much about it, like us, all of us here from our team and from all of the other groups represented tonight, and then in our case in particular, especially when you have the support of advocates who have been working on this for years and are really experienced and caring about it, you're able to turn those obstacles into just more determination to keep fighting. So for this year, the rest of the year and next, we look forward to supporting efforts, policy efforts like to preserve public transit in the Bay Area, to phase out polluting gas appliances and to make polluting corporations pay for the damages that they caused at the state level. And we encourage you to connect any young people, whether in the South Bay area or other parts of the Bay, to connect them with us so that we can learn from each other's work and support it mutually. And also, just more broadly, I hope that more and more of our efforts throughout the region will be united and stronger together as we continue to build up this climate justice movement here in the Bay Area. So thank you again very much to 350 Bay Area for this recognition and for bringing all of us together tonight to kind of have like a yearly recognition and renewal of this climate justice movement that we are all working towards in the Bay Area. And we really look forward to hearing from everyone else tonight.
Thank you guys so much for your remarks and for your accepting of this award. I'm seeing some emoji support in the chat, and as people are going to, if we could get a flood of emojis, which is our virtual applause for you all and all the work that you're doing. Really appreciate all of the amazing things that you are doing. And yes, I wanted to highlight what Mark said in the chat, which is that you all were also very key in getting Santa Clara County to upgrade their their investment policy to be fossil free, which was huge. And also you've been involved in getting multiple polluters pay resolutions passed um, in the South Bay and are continuing to do so. And special shout out to Cynthia Lee, who is also a member of SVYCA and also a member of our 350 Bay Area Youth-led mobilizing team. And it's been so great being able to collaborate with you all. And I'm going to uh, share my screen again. And this is our virtual our virtual presenting of the award. And you will be receiving this in the mail, a certificate of appreciation and recognition of your advocacy for strong climate policies and solutions, your impactful organizing and empowering of Bay Area youth through taking bold climate action. So thank you very much again for all that you do. And we're very happy to celebrate you tonight. Wonderful. Seeing lots of support in the chat. I'm going to now introduce our introducer. So let me add a spotlight here. And Kate Harrison, take it away.
Well, Zoe, thank you so much. I am really, really delighted tonight to introduce Jessica Guadalupe Tovar, who's the executive director of the local Clean Energy Alliance. It's the Bay Area's foremost membership organization working to promote a clean energy future through the development and democratization, really critically, of local and renewable energy resources. This continues Jessica's lifetime work in environmental justice and climate leadership. For over 20 years, she has battled polluting corporations in campaigns to close PG&E's gas-fired power plant in San Francisco's Bayview, Hunters Point, fight the PG&E bailout for mega wildfires, and many more campaigns, all with the overriding goal of bringing clean power to the people. Jessica was the co-founder of the People's Clean Power Alliance to establish a community choice program, AVA Community Energy, formerly known as East Bay Community Energy, to replace PG&E in providing electricity and leveraging local clean energy investments for environmental justice communities. She so strongly advocated for a local development business plan, a roadmap for a Green New Deal for communities throughout Alameda and San Joaquin counties. And I don't think there's another county or a CCA that has one of these plans. I was proud while I was on council to work with and support Jessica. I was also on the AVA board. Jessica never let the board or me slack off on the core mission, and I really appreciated her holding my feet to the fire. Through her strategy and leadership, Local Clean Energy Alliance continues to develop and win groundbreaking campaigns that benefit frontline communities. Jessica loves scary stuff, comedy, birding, and gardening, a collection she calls her Clean Power Plants. With that, please join me in congratulating Jessica on this long overdue award. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Kate. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate your serving on the AVA Community Energy Board. Yeah, thanks. This is a huge honor. The work is hard. I've been going at it pretty hard. I can't wait to take a break. But I just want to uplift. If you're not familiar with the Local Clean Energy Alliance, our organization actually was formed to advance community choice and specifically an East Bay Community Choice Agency, which has since grown and now also serves not just Alameda County, but also the San Joaquin County. And in addition to that, I want to just uplift. We really did this work because we wanted to create an alternative to PG&E. And essentially what community choice does is PG&E no longer gets our money for electricity. It stays with a local agency. So technically that's our money and we have to fight to get it reinvested back into the communities so that we can create the clean energy transition that we want to see specifically in communities that have been heavily inundated with dirty energy. And it's hard work. It's still in progress. I want to uplift that this fiscal year, for the first time ever, Ava Community Energy did not allocate any money to local clean energy development. That's a first, and this is also a call to action. We will be fighting to get surplus monies, which will come up this fall, to get allocated to local investment. And that's important because that's the money you're all paying for electricity, right? And so we do need to see that money reinvested back into the community. I want to uplift that Ava Community Energy, if you didn't know, is $1 billion annually operating budget. It's somewhere just under $1 billion. I don't doubt that they hit the billion mark. Their surpluses range from 80 to about $120 million annually. This is your money. This is the money that needs to go to the clean energy infrastructure that we desperately need in our communities. There's no reason why we should be living in communities that are heavily polluted, in homes that are not electrified. And so there's so much work that needs to be done. And so I really want to uplift that. And since this is a celebratory space, I want to uplift that we did some really good work the end of last year to ensure that our ratepayer money was not used to contract Deloitte. If you didn't know this, Deloitte is the third largest contractor who holds contracts with ICE. We want to make sure that our public money is used for good. So we were able to ensure that that $560,000 contract did not go to Deloitte, and we're really advocating for it to go to local contractors. Essentially, they would have been responsible for doing community engagement around a strategic roadmap for the agency. That would mean community engagement and access to data. And we know that corporate firms are not to be trusted. It's the same fight as we're fighting flock surveillance and all these other entities that are doing harm and aiding and abetting ICE raids and terror in our communities. So I'm very excited that we fought that. I'm also very excited that we got this agency to pass a procurement policy that they will not contract anybody for the next 3 years who holds contracts with ICE on immigration. We were really hoping for that to be a permanent procurement policy. We're happy that we got something, but in 3 years, the board will revisit that decision. I will need you all there to ensure that moving forward, our public money is not used for such horrible actors in our communities. So with that, I want to say clean power to the people. Thank you so much for this honor. I'm really, really humbled. I want to give a huge shout out to my nephew, Sanda Emiliano. I love you. And clean power to the people. Thank you. Woohoo.
Thank you, Jessica. Can I get another round of a flood of emojis for our virtual applause, please? All this is the love for you and for all the work you've been doing in our communities. It's really so crucial. I think anybody who lives in California knows how important this issue is, and how hard we have to fight for energy democracy and for clean energy, and not only for our health but for our pocketbooks and for justice. So appreciate you leading on this for so many years, and just wanted to say thank you for all that you do. And for our certificate of appreciation, we want to recognize you for over a decade of powerful organizing to build community-centered and community-created solutions for the climate and clean energy in the Bay Area and beyond, not forgetting being a trendsetter, and for your persistent pursuit to create tangible change in the lives of all, especially those most impacted by environmental injustice. So thank you, Jessica. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you, everyone. Um, we are going to keep on moving and recognize our next guest, our next awardee, who is the incredible and comfortable Hilary Glann. And I am going to spotlight the wonderful Cheryl Wyden from 50 Silicon Valley to introduce you to her. Take it away, Cheryl.
Hello. It is my extreme pleasure to introduce Hilary Glann. In 2020, during the depths of the pandemic, Hilary and three other women looked at a hard moment and asked, what can we build from this to help the planet? And the answer was 350 Silicon Valley Palo Alto Climate Action Team. And Hilary's instinct, drawing on a career in technology marketing, was to point the team to something practical and underrated, getting gas out of buildings, aka building electrification, the second largest source of emissions in Palo Alto, trailing only transportation. That early decision shaped everything that followed. Today, co-leading the team alongside Andrea Extingara, Hilary has helped grow it to 35 active members in Palo Alto, including a revolving cast of high schoolers and an email list of more than 600 residents in Palo Alto. But growth in numbers is only one part of the story. Hilary has also built something harder to measure, a real working model for how grassroots teams earn a seat at the table. Under her leadership, the team meets regularly with city staff, holds biannual sessions with city council members, and co-sponsors a city council climate forum in election years. She has also built lasting relationships with groups across the region, the Palo Alto Bike Coalition, Palo Alto Forward, Fossil Free Building Silicon Valley, the League of Women Voters, the Menlo Park City Team, San Mateo City CL, and more. This network means that when the team launches a campaign, it doesn't launch it alone. For Hilary, climate work has always been about who gets left out. Her environmental justice instinct is clear that clean air, healthy buildings, and housing solutions should reach every resident, including renters and lower income residents who too often get left out of the conversation. She also believes climate work happens in person. She shows up. In the past year alone, Hilary has organized teams' participation in over 20 community events. And she didn't just organize them, she showed up to most of them herself, table after table, conversation after conversation, that same drive to reach people where they are led to her. It's the same drive to reach people where they are led to her signature win, persuading Palo Alto to reframe its climate program around health, not just carbon, the language that actually reaches people. And I'll say this firsthand. This work is hard. You know it, and I know it. And sometimes it's discouraging. Climate organizing asks people to show up consistently for incremental progress year after year. Hilary is one of those people that make this possible. Her steadiness and her encouragement are part of what keeps me and the rest of the team going on the steering committee. Please join me in celebrating Hilary Glann. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Cheryl. Um, that was lovely. And I want to also thank you for the things that have made it happen, including your incredible financial management of 350 Silicon Valley and the connections you've built in our community with different organizations, including the Climate Carnival, run by a gentleman by the name of Andrew Breithaupt, who makes these amazing games that have transformed how we table, where we have these great games that keep the kids occupied so we can talk to their parents. And that's all on you. So thank you so much for all you've done. And I also want to give a shout out to Andrea Guerra, who is the co-leader of the team and is a wonderful partner with brilliant ideas about how to advance our cause. Back in 2022, she worked with Physicians for Social Responsibility in San Francisco, and she turned what was a bunch of different studies, early studies showing the dangers of gas stove emissions to children, into this brochure, which became the first tool we had to connect health to burning fossil fuels. And that was just the amazing document that she ended up putting together. I also want to, before I just add this to my notes, I wanted to tell the SV CYA folks, we love to partner with you. We also believe very much in the health message, and I think there could be some great partnerships between 350 Silicon Valley and you guys as we try to get that message out to the community. My background is in marketing, so I do really spend way too much time thinking about messaging and trying to figure out how we can improve the uptake of switching out gas in your homes and in your cars. And we've had some really interesting experiences. When we first told parents about this connection between asthma and gas stoves, we often had them get very, very angry at us. And they weren't actually angry at us. They were angry that they had never heard this before and they'd put their children at risk. And sometimes they just look crushed and unhappy. Fortunately, there is a very simple fix for people, an inexpensive induction cooktop. But, we wish we could get to more parents who don't know this. Whenever we table, we'll at least talk to a couple, three people who have no idea. They'll have the baby in their arms and we ask if they have a gas stove, and indeed they do. So our work is not done, but every time we talk to one of those sets of parents, we feel like we're making a difference. By the way, the same health concerns about gas stoves apply to pets as well. When gas burns, a lot of heavy, bad toxic gases go to the floor. And if you have a dog like I do, being on the floor in the kitchen, hoping to get food is the place to be. And that's where the gas is. So even if you don't have children, you should be thinking about and telling your friends about not using gas stove. We've really focused on health after a lot of years of trying different messages, but now we've got people with market research to prove that the health message works. The Sustainability Office at the San Mateo County did a bunch of research and found out that, big surprise, indoor pollution, nobody likes them. Their message guide really encourages people to prioritize heat pumps for their homes and, of course, whatever they can do to clean up both their home and their community. The messaging guide they created is going to be used by the Bay Area Air District, minus, of course, any mention of gas stoves, because that is not an area they want to touch. And we did persuade the city of Palo Alto in March to adopt the San Mateo messaging, which was much better than the focus we previously had on be a climate champion and take out your heater, which was not very persuasive to a lot of people. There's a number of other studies that provide this. There's a group called Potential Energy that just came out with a study called 5 Simple Shifts for Climate Communication. This is a broad message I think we should all take on board. They really encourage us to choose our words carefully when we're trying to change behaviors. So don't talk about emissions and greenhouse gases, much less GHGs, decarbonization or net zero. Simply talk about pollution. It's the word that everyone understands. And sometimes I think we make things much more complicated than they need to be. This was figured out by pollster Frank Luntz back in 2022, where he has you can find it on YouTube. He has a presentation called Climate Words to Use and Words to Lose, which also says, keep it with terms like pollution that people can understand. Try not to use terms that mean a lot to us, but you have to have background to understand them. Even the governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, is on this bandwagon. He was on Morning Joe last week, and he was asked, how are you going to fight climate change? I don't know if you guys know, but he's a big climate activist. And he said, I want to stop you right there. We're not talking about climate change. We're talking about fighting pollution. Climate change, most people don't understand, and they don't care about it. Pollution is the thing that actually kills 7 million people a year. I did fact check that, and that is indeed a statistic from the World Health Organization. So If we want to avoid 7 million premature deaths annually, we need to reduce our pollution. And then finally, I saw something from some spring research done by the most um, well-known climate work group, which is the Yale Program on Climate Change Communication. And they said health is one of the most powerful ways we have of saying, actually, this affects our lives right here and right now. It's already affecting the people and places and things we love. So that's something that we can all think about when we're talking to people. So just wanted to note that this is where we are. I think affordability is also a very powerful message, although again, until we can get our electricity rates down, it's going to be a little less persuasive. But I really do encourage people to think about their words when they're talking with people and try to connect to them on a human basis and try to avoid the abbreviations and complexity that sometimes we bring into our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Hilary. Wonderful remarks and so crucial and so important. It's so it really is such an important issue to understand how to reach people effectively and how to kind of make them not only understand the issues, but make them understand in a way that empowers them to take action rather than, shutting people down and making them more anxious and more afraid. And I feel like showing people what they can do is so important and so incredible. Not to mention all of your amazing accolades and your incredible accomplishments, tireless work. On the team. And we are so appreciative to have you in our community and to have your efforts in our movement. Want to share with you your um, certificate of appreciation in recognition of your steadfast leadership and organizing through 350 Silicon Valley and the Palo Alto City team to coordinate and engage our community and to tirelessly fight for stronger policy, solution, and messaging on climate at the local level. Thank you so much, Hilary. And if we could get another wave of reactions and applause for all of the work that you do.
Thank you.
Yes, and even now, using your time to educate folks and share the good communication strategies, educating and your leveraging your power. Wonderful. Thank you. Next, we are very excited to have with us this evening and to honor David Solnit. And to introduce him, I'm going to call up Leah Redwood, who's a friend and organizer at Oil and Gas Action Network. Take it away, Leah.
Hello, everybody. As Zoe said, my name's Leah. I work with the Oil and Gas Action Network, and I have the great honor of introducing David Solnit this evening. David has been a leader in climate and social justice movements here in the Bay and nationally for decades. From the anti-nuclear movement in the 70s all the way to the May Day marches this year in Oakland and San Francisco and events this year and everything in between. David has organized and created compelling visuals for campaigns and events too numerous to count. He was a key organizer in the actions that shut down the World Trade Organization meeting in Seattle in 1999 and also helped create a mass mobilization and blockade of Market Street in San Francisco the day after Iraq was invaded in 2003. I was lucky enough to meet David during that time, and although I didn't make it to Seattle, I joined the arts activism community he founded called Art and Revolution Collective. For me, being part of this collective was incredibly exciting. I learned from David how to build giant puppets and other art pieces for marches and rallies, create powerful street theater productions, and how to grow a movement to work towards the better world we know is possible. David is a prolific artist responsible for many of the iconic images that we have used for our visuals in climate campaigns, and is an incredible resource to the community, providing art design and production support for campaign visuals at his Richmond art studio, as well as supporting many other artists to get their work out into the world. Many of you have probably been to art builds out at Bridge and helped silkscreen or paint in preparation for an event. David is always incredibly generous in his support for the climate movement. He's also an author and editor of several books and a trainer, sharing his experiences and the wisdom he has developed over so many years in the movement, with a key message I have learned from him that bringing the arts into our organizing is the most effective way we can reach people. So now I am so happy to turn it over to David to share about his work.
Thank you, Leah. That was very gracious. And thank you, 350 Bay Area, for the gracious acknowledgement. Thank you to the other organizers, our organizers from Silicon Valley Youth, Hilary, Jessica, and Bay Resistance. I'm gonna share a few images. I do arts organizing, which is I work with all kinds of different groups and movements and use the power of and the language of art, all the different forms. I focus a lot on theater and visual art. So I wanted to screen share and show 10 of my favorite actions very quickly. Let's see if this works. Zoe, if you can let me know if it's working, great. And let's do that. And
Looks good. We just need it to be a little bigger, I think.
yeah, let's see if we can. And this is I'll just jump right in, but this is in 2012 in Richmond, where I am at my studio. The refinery blew up and exploded, sent 15,000 people to the hospitals with respiratory and other issues. And so a year later, people responded. See? How is my visual, Zoe? People responded with a mass march and action organized. All kinds of Richmond groups, people throughout the region and 350 Bay Area who was quite involved. And we chose sunflowers and actually decided we were going to plant sunflowers on Richmond because one of the urban tilth folks said they removed toxins from the soil. So Julie and I took my truck and bought 1,500 sunflowers that were grown on local regional farms. And so 3,000 people turned up for the march. Half of them were carrying sunflowers. And we marched from the BART station to the refinery. And then this is us doing a mass sit-in, which was led by Richmond residents. And over 210 of us were arrested. And as we gathered there, we also painted a giant 50-foot wide sunflower. And so the use of art and such was throughout it. And so I've shifted over to from a mass direct action organizer to also being an arts organizer, because I realized that people understand the world through stories, and stories are how we win. And so jumping forward, this is in Paris, and I got to host an art space for the December 2015 Paris COP, where the climate summit, and there was a terror attack. Demonstrations were forbidden, so any demonstrations we did were actually somewhat disobedience. One of the things that we did to sort of keep people's spirits up is we made a 300-foot banner, and with the coalition, and we made a plan on the last day. It said, "It's up to us, keep it in the ground." And so on the last day of the climate summit, though demonstrations were forbidden, thousands of us turned out in defiance, and we took the banner and marched on the Eiffel Tower. It was amazing. Jumping forward, when we came back, we realized we needed direct action. So I got to go up to Anacortes, Washington, and participate in break free actions. And this is us doing a 3-day occupation of the railroad tracks that they moved oil trains on. And people literally pitched tents. Grandmothers set up rocking chairs and knitted, and we decorated it with art. People also blockaded the refinery, did water actions. Very wonderful. Jumping forward, this was our San Francisco Solidarity Action with Standing Rock, led by Idle No More SF Bay, who's been sort of the heart of the climate justice movement in the Bay Area with their healing walks, and then leading us in our Indigenous solidarity with Standing Rock. And so on a week's notice, there was a call for people across the country to pressure the Army Corps of Engineers to deny the permit. And so we in the Bay Area, led by Idle No More, turned out 5,000 people on a week's notice, over 100 of whom are sitting in on Market Street, shutting it down, risking arrest. Jumping over to Washington, D.C. for the Second People's Climate March. To make art for the march, I partnered with the folks fighting the Atlantic Coast Pipeline in North Carolina and my friends at Paper Hand, longtime Art and Revolution comrades. And we made giant art to create a theater pageant for the march. And so you can see the art, and this is at a march in DC in 95-degree humid weather, performing it with hundreds of participants, and then marching with the march on the White House. I've had a great honor of getting to support Youth vs. Gov, or our Children's Trust legal lawsuits. And so this is when they came to San Francisco, but I've been doing art with them ever since, and trying to figure out how to take up space, amplify their messages, and tell their story with color coordination. In October 2021, as the climate summit, the COP, was meeting in Glasgow, we took over the street in front of BlackRock, the biggest investor in fossil fuels, and invited community groups. Each one of those circles is a different community group who painted a mini mural. And then the background, they were painted with tempera paint. The background is native design and painted with natural clay. And let's just see here. And I'm jumping forward to Fossil Free California, and ACE asked me to help think about an action around Make Polluters Pay, and it was right after the LA fires. So we had done this in the BlackRock action. We actually worked with folks from Paradise and other fire impacted places. Some of those murals were painted with paint made from the charcoal and ash from the Paradise fires. So we said, let's do that with the LA fires. And we found an artist, Eddie Aparicio, whose house had burned down, and asked him if he would be willing to do a design with us. And so this is the design he did, which is kind of the remnants of his house. And we gathered ash from the LA fire, from Palisades and Altadena, and made paint together with the community at the local day labor job center, and painted the mural. And using making the paint from the actual charcoal and ash. And then we painted it, and then Julie Searle led this with others in front of the Richmond Chevron refinery. We actually painted it on site on a giant prepared canvas that was laid out. So that was what it looked like. And then we did a coordinated one in LA. I worked with the artist Eddie here, and we painted one in LA and had a rally at the Pasadena Job Center, which is also the headquarters of the National Day Labor Organizing Network. And this is our rally outside. And jumping to last month, when Microsoft held their build conference at Fort Mason, we partnered with myself and two other artists. We built giant canvases, painted them, and that was what we did to the entryway of Fort Mason. So several thousand members who came to their conference got to see our visual art commentary on the impact of Microsoft on data centers, and led to lots of amazing conversations. And the number 10 one is to be in the future. So this is a provocation for everyone listening to this call to think about how you're going to, or how you could integrate art, culture, creativity into your future actions. And I actually advocate that if you're a serious campaign and want to win, I believe you need to put it at the center. That if you're an organizer, you need to learn those skills along with all your other skills. And that's been my experience, is that's how we win together. And I think I will say thank you again and huge appreciation. And I will unshare. And
Please.
Yeah, I'll just also mention, if anyone's around tomorrow night, I'll be screen printing these at La Peña at the mass meeting around the No Coal in Oakland, which is now No Coal in the East Bay. So come on by, and thank you again, 350 Bay Area, and thank you for all the collaborators, which is everyone almost on this call.
Thank you so much, David. There are truly like almost not enough words to be able to accurately express, I feel like, my gratitude, everyone's gratitude for your role in the movement and for everything you do. One of my first actions was the one in front of Black Rock, and I just remember being so taken aback and so astounded by the like level of impact of that kind of art, and the collaboration of all of it. And just throughout my years as a volunteer and as a staffer, just organizing, having your art be a cornerstone of the movement, and not just the climate movement, but also all these other amazing social justice movements, lots of things, protesting ICE and protesting fascism. Your art frames how people see our movement, and it really can't be understated how much we appreciate your contributions and your creativity and your organizing. So if we could get another wave of applause for David, we really appreciate you, and thank you so much for being on this call with us tonight. Wonderful. Thank you so much, David. We really are so honored to honor you. And I'm going to pull up the certificate appreciating in recognition of your decades of creative and organizing leadership to the climate justice and broader social justice movements, your boundless efforts to create exquisite art that shapes how these movements grow, and your incredible generosity and your collaboration and solidarity with all. Thank you so much, and we are so happy to honor you tonight. Moving us to our final honoree of the evening, and I will be actually doing this introduction. We are going to be honoring the incredible group Bay Resistance. And can I get a quick like emoji show of hands if you've seen some kind of thing or you've participated in something with Bay Resistance in the last year? I'm seeing a good amount. So Bay Resistance, if you are not familiar, is an incredible coalition, a network of community organizations, unions, neighborhood groups, religious groups, all sorts of convergences of groups and people who want to come together to protect our communities, to resist authoritarianism, to fight for a better future for everyone. And it really is a monumental group, not only because of all of the work that they have been doing already. But in the last year, since the inauguration, the second inauguration of President Trump, we have seen numerous attacks on our communities time and time again, not only here, but also throughout the state and throughout the country. And Bay Resistance has really stepped up to the plate in an unprecedented way and brought together all of these groups that are already working in these ways, but are working together even greater now. And I've had the pleasure of going to a training at a mass training that they did in October at my old high school, Oakland Tech. And there I met up with folks in my neighborhood who wanted to start a neighborhood action pod. And maybe Sarah can provide any numbers, but I know just from helping co-facilitate that neighborhood action pod that the amount of people who are interested in protecting their communities and taking action and building these relationships in their communities skyrocketed. And that really goes to show that these people were already there and they already cared, and giving them the opportunity and the ability to make these connections is going to be what makes the change. And as we've seen in Minnesota, not only are these connections that we make as a community useful for protecting us when authoritarianism comes knocking at our door, but these are connections that will keep us safe for years to come and really build stronger communities and allow us to have better change. And you may be wondering, this is related a little bit to climate, but how is it actually related to climate? And to that, I would say that we have been stating as 350 Bay Area, 350 Bay Area Action in the last few years, time and time again, how fossil fuels and fascism go hand in hand. And we cannot achieve climate action. We cannot achieve a green future. We cannot achieve clean energy if we do not have the freedom to talk about it, if we do not have the freedom to protest and to resist, and if our community members are being snatched off the streets. So all of these things are tied together, and all of these issues are so critically important. And Bay Resistance is one of those groups that's working intersectionally and pulling all of these people together across these groups, and really making a difference. So I have the honor of introducing not only Bay Resistance, but Sarah Jarman, who's going to be representing the group this evening. And Sarah was involved in the formation of Bay Resistance in 2016 and has been active in the organization since then. She's also been involved in Bay Area climate justice organizing for decades, most recently with the affinity group of 11th Hour. Thank you so much, Sarah, and take it away.
Thank you so much. First of all, I just want to say thank you very much for this award. It's truly an honor for Bay Resistance to receive it. And you're right, because we do feel that all these issues are connected, and we cannot fight fascism without fighting for a cleaner climate, fighting for climate justice. All these issues are interconnected, and we all have to lift each other up if we're going to win. So like I said, I'm honored to be here to accept this award. My name is Sarah Jarman, and I've been involved with Bay Resistance since the very beginning. It was the Friday after Trump got elected in 2016. A bunch of us came together who were part of Jobs with Justice at that time. We sat around a table, we cried, we yelled, we got really upset, and then we asked the question, what can we do? What can this group of people do? And who else needs to be here to do that? And that's how Bay Resistance, that was the first conversation. And from that, we built a network of organizations who were the ones that before Trump got elected, he promised he was going to cut their rights. So at that time, it was a coalition, and it still is a coalition of people with disability, organizations of people with disabilities, immigrants, Arab folks, Black people, South Asian folks, Muslim folks, women, workers, queer people, and all coming together with this understanding of solidarity. We can't do this alone. We won't win if we're just working on one issue. We have to come together. Um, did we think we'd be around 10 years later? No. But here we are, 10 years later. And I would argue that Bay resistance is as strong as it's ever been. We came back roaring at the beginning of this administration with the understanding that we have to fight fascism right where we are. Yes, there are all these cuts at a federal level, but we need to work right here in the Bay Area and across the state of California to really have an impact on the authoritarianism we're seeing all around us. So Bay resistance, the framework is that we are here to defend our communities, our movements, and our planet. The mission of the organization is to advance racial, economic, climate, and gender justice by activating individuals and families to build a just world for all of us. Um, One of the things that I just find so beautiful about this organization is that any person can get involved. And like Zoe said, the action pods have been a really important way for anybody here in this meeting. If you haven't already, you can form your own action pod with your neighbors, with your friends, and come up with manageable plans for you all as a group to carry out something strategic for your own neighborhood, for your own local community. That's the beauty of this organization. Yes, there are 200 organizations who are a part of the network, including many climate justice organizations like APEN, Asian Pacific Islander Environmental Network, and ACE is also very involved. And those two groups are working on the coal train in the East Bay campaign already. That may become a campaign that folks within Bay Resistance might work on. We're still, it's still in the early phases, but climate organizing is a key component of the work we're doing, definitely. Um, we have, Zoe, you were asking for numbers. There are 1,500 people who are in action pods. And that's not everybody who's involved in the organization. You all have been to the rallies and actions that Bay Resistance has organized in the Bay Area. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people have come to those actions. There are 8,000 people who have signed up to take action with Bay Resistance. And we're active in 5 counties within the Bay Area. So if those of you who live in Silicon Valley, there is a South Bay Resistance. I don't know if folks have heard about South Bay Resistance, but they are also having open meetings, are encouraging folks to create action pods in neighborhoods in San Mateo County, in Santa Clara County. We have folks in Contra Costa County and in the North Bay as well. So we're expanding too our reach. There are many campaigns that Bay Resistance is focused on. I would say that immigrant defense and immigrant rights has been a strong focus of the organization in the last year. I, for one, got connected with the work of the Adopt a Corner and took on organizing the Adopt a School at my child's elementary school. And it was Bay Resistance pods who have been supporting the Adopt a Corner and Adopt a School by, bringing folks together to go do shifts at their local ice patrol, ice watch. And like I said, I think that it's really what sets Bay Resistance apart at this moment is the action pods that you can come together with anyone in your neighborhood, and then you can organize your neighborhood And I think that that builds trust. It builds this sense of we keep each other safe. And like Zoe was saying, it helps us, build that solidarity and build what we need to do to actually win against this authoritarianism and the impending or, hopefully not coming fascism that we're facing. I wanted to mention that some of the campaigns that Bay Resistance has been involved with, like the campaigns against Palantir, Home Depot, and Target specifically, while those have been focused on their role in carrying out immigrant detention and deportation, those corporate campaigns are also climate justice campaigns because they are targeting the same folks who are plundering our communities are plundering our environment. They are connected. And I know that all of you, many of you have probably heard of Bay Resistance, but if I could get another show of hands of folks who are already connected, already signed up on the listserv or are in an action pod. Because that's what it's awesome. This is amazing. I feel like maybe, yeah, lots of folks here. That's wonderful. I want to put in the chat a link to get involved. Here we go. I'm just gonna put the in the chat here. This is where you can sign up for the action alerts, where you can sign up to join a pod. And you can also donate to Bay Resistance so that we can keep this work going. It's a pretty small group. I'm a volunteer. It's a very small group of staff and who are, as you just heard, managing an incredible response, an incredible involvement in the work, and we always need support to keep it going. With that, I will just say thank you once again for seeing the connections between the work we're doing and climate justice work, because we have to work together. And I will just say that I have a soft spot in my heart for 350.org because my niece, who lives in San Diego, led her first protest last year, a rally that was organized by 350.org. She helped organize it and she spoke. So yeah, that made me very proud as her aunt. Thank you so much for honoring Bay Resistance.
Thank you, Sarah. And yes, we love San Diego 350 and their Youth Beat Oil team. They're so awesome. Can I get another round of applause, please, in the chat for all the amazing work Bay Resistance is doing? As people are saying, I want to shout out one of the things that Moni put in the chat, because we're saying about how fascism runs on fossil fuels. And Mani said, on the other side of the coin, we can make renewable energy a democratizing force. And I think that's so true. And I also think all of this comes down to our ties that we have to each other and the solidarity that we have. Divided we stand, united we fall, right? And when we show this undivided force together, that this is when we win, and this is when we stand up to the powers that be that are trying to harm us and our communities. So thank you so much, Sarah. I'll share my screen one last time and present you with your award for recognition of your efforts to build strong, resilient community networks and coalitions and organize against encroaching authoritarianism to protect our communities and fight for a better, more just future for all. So thank you. You can get one more thing of round of applause, and so appreciate everything you're doing. Thank you. we are at the portion of our call where we are going to do Q&A. So we have about 10 minutes for Q&A. So if you have a question for one of the honorees this evening, please you can either put it in the chat or raise your hand and we will ask you to unmute. We will have 10 minutes of that before we close out with remarks from our Executive Director, Laura. Lisa, do you have a question? Can I call on you first?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was on mute. What was David's favorite art piece that he did ever?
My favorite one is the one coming up in the future that you're going to help design with us.
Love it. All right, other questions? Also, very much welcome awardees to ask questions of each other if you have any. This is definitely a time for collaboration. Jack, go ahead.
Hilary, you said 7 million deaths per year, and I think I wanted to make sure I understood that because I think that's just in the United States. I think globally, it's way, way, way more than 7 million.
What I looked at said worldwide, but I could be wrong, Jack. So let me check on that. I think it's closer to 300,000 premature deaths in the US. Whatever it is, it's way too many, but I can double check on those numbers and get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
I wonder if they divide it by different kinds of climate-related deaths. That might be part of it.
I have a question. Thanks. My question is for Jessica. Jessica, I wanted to know if there's any more work going on stopping the acceptance of nuclear attributes by CCAs. You know, this whole issue of where we're bailing out PG&E really essentially by taking on some of their debt in a sense and not getting anything for it locally. So can you talk about that a little and what's happened?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for asking that question. So if you didn't know this, PG&E has an excess of nuclear energy, and what they've done to continue keeping energy alive, but also to reduce their portfolio and ramp up their renewables, is to offer nuclear energy from the Diablo Canyon power plant to community choice energy agencies. We actually fought it at Ava Community Energy, which when it was under East Bay Community Energy, and we won, but in 2020, I think it was 2024, the issue came up again. And Ava Community Energy was very adamant at taking it this time, where other community choice programs like San Francisco, because of the community pressure, did not consider taking it again. So if you live in Ava Community Energy territory, there is PG&E's Diablo Canyon Nuclear in that mix. And we fought that again. We were able to keep it out, but in 2024, like I said, the agency went forward in taking it. One thing I want to say is this is a very insidious way of keeping the Diablo Canyon power plant like open. If you didn't know this already, the life of that power plant has been extended by 5 years. That 5 years is almost up. So what I learned recently is they're trying really hard. PG&E's trying really hard to keep it open and they're trying to sneak some language and some legislation to get a 15-year permit.
Ugh.
So what I could do is add a link into the chat on that.
Yeah.
But yes, it's a huge issue. PG&E doesn't care. They just want to make money any which way that they can, and they will do anything, including put our lives at risk and our environment at risk, even if the thing is older than it should be. That's how these corporations make money. It's the reason why the 2012 fire happened at Chevron was because Chevron didn't care to upkeep, right? They just wanted to keep running the plant and creating gasoline. It's the same issue that caused the fires in Paradise, is because PG&E doesn't care about managing its transmission wire system. It cares about making more money. And it's all at putting our communities and environment at risk. And that's a huge, terrible pattern of these corporations. And it says a lot about our system that allows them to do that. Because we know Paradise and all these other incidents actually took lives of people. And why is this, corporation still making money and still in business? It really speaks to the fact that, our leaders, and I will blame the governor for not really stepping up, because the CPUC, who makes all these decisions and enables PG&E to run amok on our communities, is enabled by the governor. So I want to name that too.
Thank you.
Hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you very much. And I'd love the link. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a really great answer to a really great question. I see Corey's hand up.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I really enjoyed this. And I just wanted to do a shout out to David Solnit. I'm with Green Stitch Climate Action. We're out in San Geronimo Valley in North Bay. And David's come out and done some amazing work with us here. And we also went to his studio and he did an awesome workshop 2 different times on the street murals. And we're preparing right now for the annual 4th of July. We do a street mural out here on climate and also make signs for climate awareness and action. So that's what we're working on now. When David was back there silk screening, I'm like, I feel you. We got to do work. And so anyway, I have some of my students here, and we just thought it'd be really fun to listen to the awards while we were working tonight. Yay!
Yay. Invite me out west.
Yeah, so good to see you. So glad you all got appreciated for your hard work. Yeah.
Can't wait to see your mural.
Yeah, we'll send pictures.
Please do.
Right.
Thank you. Nan, you've got your hand raised.
Good.
Oh, let's get you to unmute. There you go.
David, how do other artists, activists get involved with your work?
Oh, you're muted.
Two things. I mostly partner with different organizations. So if you get involved with a group, approach me and do that. I also have a lot of art kits where I share resources, and I periodically do different skill shares with groups. But my basic belief is that anyone can and should make art of all forms: music, performance, visual art. Yeah.
So there's not like a core group that you work with all the time?
There's not at this point. I was part of Art and Revolution Collective, but now I just sort of I work as a partner with a lot of different amazing groups, mostly around Palestine, immigration, and climate. Yeah, and if you're an artist and are thinking about how to plug in, feel free to reach out to me. Or if you're an organization and want to figure out how to make your organizing more impactful and joyful, also reach out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your great work.
Thank you. Monica, you've got your hand raised.
Yeah, I have a question for the Silicon Valley Youth Climate Action folks, and love to know more about the Youth Summer like Leadership Academy.
I think maybe I can take this one. This is a program that we started last year. So since then, this year it's grown from about 30 students to about 50 students, where we invites students from throughout the South Bay area to participate for 3 weeks, like full days of really intensive training about the basics of climate change, as well as how to be an advocate, how to participate in your local government, how to make change in the world on climate change, and use those skills that you build and those connections and that understanding that you build about how decisions work and how power flows in the systems that represent us, to be able to be a growing contributor to the climate movement here in the Bay Area. It's I got to be one of the student mentors from it last year, and I'm going to be again this year, and it's really it felt like a lot of people what you could learn from years of being an advocate and just starting to learn how things work and how you can be a contributor, really to build that in a community in a very short amount of time. And it was really an amazing program to be part of.
It's amazing. Thank you for sharing about that, and thanks for putting the link in the chat, Emily. I know definitely our youth-led mobilizing team wants to be able to collaborate with you all more, so you'll be getting emails from us. That is all the time we have for our Q&A section. If you have other questions for these folks, feel free to put them in the chat and maybe we can get an email response or something after. I'm going to pass it to Laura to close us out and offer some final remarks. Thank you.
Well, I'm so glad that so many people showed up in celebration. And it just doesn't fail these evenings to nourish us all and me. And I think I got through 3 minutes at the beginning without getting choked up. It's a record. I do want to just take 1 second or three to really thank Zoe and the rest of the team for putting this together. But I think Zoe just did a masterful job setting up the conversations, and as we appreciate these people. You know, everybody here knows how hard the work really is, and how much effort it takes, and how much frustration as we build power together to fight too much power in too few hands. And I think that hopefully there's a dawning awareness beyond this group that knows it so well, that the intersections of justice and democracy and environment is key to getting us to a livable future. So it's amazing that this sense of environmental justice hasn't permeated everything. You know, that everybody has the right to clean air and clean water and clean soil. And in terms of energy justice, I mean, really the linchpin of that, beyond all sorts of other things, is affordable, clean, reliable energy. And we are all kind of fighting towards that as well. But when you think about that, the intersection of justice and democracy and environment, that's where you really know for sure that social and racial justice are really key to all those things, and that interlocking Venn diagram. So we really appreciate the awardees as part of this lovely tapestry of the movement. And when we get up in the morning and we have to do all of this really hard work, it makes a difference when we remember that we're doing it together and people are coming at it from a lot of different points of view. And it's quite, speaking of art, it's quite a beautiful mosaic. And we take this moment to really look at it from that angle and spend some time appreciating and frankly just loving each other. So yay, everybody here. Like, great job, awardees. Great job, everybody else who's here to support them. And thank you again, Zoe.
Thank you all for being here. That is it for us tonight. We will have this recording up on our YouTube if you want to share it with friends and family. We are so, so happy to be in this community with you all, as Laura said. It really makes this job doable and makes the fight worth fighting that we get to do it together. So thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Have a great rest of your day. Clean power to the people, and have a great night.